Kemeri National Park was established in 1997 by uniting several pre-existing nature reserves, namely Lake Kanyeri's Ornithological Reserve, Kemeri Great Bog Reserve, Lielupe Floodplain Meadows, Krachu Dunes Geological Reserve, and a number of locations with rare plant and animal communities. The national park comprises 38,000 hectares of relatively untouched territory, containing a great diversity of plant and animal habitats. The Kemeri Forest House was built in 1932. Until World War II, it was a venue of a popular restaurant called the Merry Mosquito. Now it houses the park's administration and information center. One of the priorities of the park's administration is environmental education. It organizes educational activities for school-age children, known as Kemeri Nature School. The boardwalk trail of Kemeri Great Bog attracts many visitors all through the year. In spring and autumn, the park administration organizes special field trips for birdwatchers, while in summer, everyone is welcome to take part in the so-called Bat Night event. The once famous Kemeri Spa Hotel, built in 1936, is still waiting for its rebirth. It was privatized in the 1990s, and since then it has been closed for renovation. The investment is at a standstill, while the curative waters continue flowing.
Sen jau viņa dziednieciskās īpašības ir atzītas, un tāpēc cilvēki arī vēl tagad, kad sanatorija nestrādā, brauc pie sēravota un ņem pudelē šo ūdeni uz mājām. Nezinu, kā viņi dzer vai viņi mazgājās. Pārsvarā jau viņi lieto ādas slimībām ārstēšanai.
Sērūdeņu veidošanās ir tāds interesants process, kas dabā ir. Tas ir ļoti saistīts ar šiem mūsu ķemeru apkārtni. Un tā īpatnība ir tā, ka sēra ūdeņus veido speciāls baktērijas, kuras dzīvo zem purviem. Un šī baktērija izmanto organiskās vielas, kas nāk no puru. Un tā ir ļoti skābā vidē, uz kaļķa augsnēm. Tur arī tad rodās šie sēru ūdeņi. Un šeit Kemeri Nacionālais parks sāk taisīt ar vides aizsardzības klubu līdzdalību šo laipu, kas ies uz sēravotiem. Baļķi ir savesti gandrīz visā garumā, uz ko liks šķērskokus. Un tādā veidā būvēs šo laipu. Šobrīd tā iešana te pa puru mums ir tā kā pa galdu. Salīdzināt ar vasaru nevar. Apakšā ir ledus un tikai virspus ir atkususi.
Half of the territory of Kemeri National Park is covered by a vast forest area, while 1/4 is occupied by wetlands. In the year 2000, a boardwalk was built in the Kemeri Great Bog. Today, this trail, winding for 3 kilometers through a maze of scenic bog pools, has become very popular among the visitors of the park. The boardwalk trail was built not only for the visitors' safety and convenience, but also for the sake of protecting the fragile bog vegetation and animals living there from human disturbance. In the northeastern section of the Great Kemeri Bog, peat was extracted until the 1970s. A grid of ditches was made to drain the peat digging site. The enhanced drainage of water degraded the adjacent sections of the bog. It overgrew with trees, and the open bog landscape with its maze of little lakes disappeared. In autumn, the drainage ditches were filled up. Will the bog be able to recover? The corncrake has become extremely rare in most parts of Europe. Here, in the meadows of Kemeri National Park, its breeding population still thrives. Natural, uncultivated meadows require regular tending, otherwise the valuable habitat may soon turn into a simple scrub. The park administration has been active in buying private land properties inside the national park's territory for conservation purposes. The greatest amounts of land have been bought for the creation and management of biologically valuable grasslands. Thus, in Juukse County alone, 271 hectares of land have been bought. In August and September, the fields surrounding the great bog come alive with hundreds of cranes. They gather here to feed and get strength before flying off to their wintering sites. During the daytime, cranes feed in the vast fields. As the sun sets, they fly off to spend the night in the bogs or in low water among the reeds. In spring, the flooded fields attract the whooper swan. They will stay here together with the geese until the thawing of the ice in their breeding sites up north. Centuries ago, the large herbivores were as efficient in keeping the meadows open as the mowing machines are today. In the course of history, man drove these large animals from the grasslands. In Latvia, the auroch and the wild horse lost their habitat in this process and finally became extinct. The first cattle paddock was made in the Dunduri meadows in 2004, and 15 aurochs brought from Belgium in cooperation with the World Wildlife Fund were released there. A year later, they were joined by 10 conic horses. The amount of animals within the fenced area is still far from what the vegetation of this territory can potentially sustain. The horses and aurochs have all the conditions to feed and reproduce here in the future. In the 1970s, the course of the little slumpy river was artificially changed. The riverbed was straightened and its waters were channeled through drainage ditches. In 2005, the first remindering project was carried out in Latvia, and the slumpy river was restored to its former shape in a 4.6-kilometer section. Meandering through the Dunduri meadows, the river has become much shallower and its banks have been leveled flat. The transformation of a drainage ditch into a riverbed cost the park administration 27,000 lots. From now on, the stream will shape its riverbed itself, scouring out depressions around underwater obstacles and in the outer edges of the curves. Many water animals and wader birds will appreciate the shoals and sandbars. The national park occupies a low-lying area, and in some places, woods grow in water. These are mainly wet, black alder forests, such as the one located next to the park's information center. Every year, all nests of eagles and black storks located in the national park are inspected to gather data on their nesting success. On the same occasion, the young birds are ringed. Forests that have been left untouched for a long period of time are more resilient to natural disasters than commercial forests. But trees grow not only in forests. Old oak trees providing habitat for a number of insects are of especial importance. That is a white-backed woodpecker, the symbol of Kemeri National Park. In former times, forest fires were more seldom than today, but also more devastating. But even in a forest ravaged by fire, you can find a number of species adapted to living in such conditions. Kemeri's Lake is an internationally significant place for waterfowl nesting. It is one of the few Ramsar sites in Latvia. The birds nesting in the lake include various species of ducks and gulls, bitterns, egrets, grebes, swans and coots. There is enough food for everyone. In autumn, it is a popular feeding and resting site for migrating waterfowl. The cranes too spend the night in the lake. The national park has a duty towards migrating birds to ensure that their stay in these stopover sites is not disturbed.
Putni te ļoti dažādi daudz. To, ko vispirmo jau redz, mēs gūbus redzējām. Jā, šobrīd tie pelēkie bija mazuļi viņiem šī gada. Vasarā gūbi vēl ir ļoti lieli bari, tie, kas neliksto, bet maina spalvas, tā viņi 100 un pat 200 tādas bars var uzturās. Citi ir tie melnie tādas kā pīles, ko citi pa pīlēm sauc. Tās nav pīles, tie lauči. Tie ezerā ļoti lielā skaitā, jā. Un tad ir visādas arī retākas sugas putni, pa kuriem mēs cīnamies, lai viņi vairāk paliek šeit parkā. Te var minēt kā vienu lielu retumu, ka ielidojas bija vienreiz Kaņieru ezerā melnkakla gārgale, kura te ķēra zivis laivu bāzes tuvumā. Tas tā kā tāds liels retums, jā. Bet ir daudz vietas, kur niedru masīvs tā kā liela siena un biezs, un tas arī nav pārāk piemērots putniem likstošanai. Svarīgāk ir, lai viņš būtu vairāk tāds ar vairāk mozaīka veida ūdens, niedrīte, tādas peldošas saliņas. Un tad mēs arī vienā vasarā ar tādu lielu traktoru braucām un pļāvām. Un tad veidojās tādi kā kanāli iekšā niedru masīvā, un tie labprāt tiek izmantot no pīlēm. Un niedrs netraucē peldēt.
Each summer, ornithologists monitor duck and gull nests on the lake islands. The collected data allow the scientists to draw conclusions and analyze the factors affecting the birds. The park's administration also uses these data in planning further improvements for the inhabitants of Kemeri's Lake. Much has already been done with the support of European financing. The reconstructed floodgates will ensure a stable water level in the lake and help the sea fish migrate into the lake for spawning. In the following years, more attention will be paid to improving the tourist infrastructure around the lake. The planned improvements include a new nature trail and watchtowers and reconstruction of the Kemeri's boat station. Finally, we want to remind you that all the sites you have just seen are located half an hour's drive from Riga. Find your own trail in Kemeri and show it to your children. We are looking forward to seeing you in Kemeri National Park.